hurdle jumps to start the day. Then I got bench press, front squats, and Nordic hamstring curls. I'll go through some comments, find some questions to answer in between sets. Quick shout out to Barbell Apparel. I really like these short shorts that they have. These are 7-inch short shorts, but click on the link in the description, go to my link, check out their clothes if you're interested in some. Get to the training, I'll find some questions answered. All right, density set of bench press here, 14 minutes, 315 on the bar. How do you train the block step / last step of a 2-foot jump? I have a mid-30s vertical, but I'm struggling to use my speed of the approach and perform the block step properly. I think you're overthinking it, dude. I don't train that at all. I just get reps. I just get reps in. I just get dunk attempts in. I just get reps in jumping, like free jumps. Don't overthink it. If you're struggling to use the speed, that horizontal momentum to a vertical displacement of your body, you just got to get reps. And like Bobby White has put this kind of stuff up on his Instagram. Do reps where you don't really care too much about the jump height. You're just trying to maintain your speed. You're going fast into your jump, and then the jump height's going to come with it. So don't overthink it. Don't worry about the penultimate step. Don't worry about footwork. Just maintain your speed and jump as high as you can, and emphasize jump height sometimes, emphasize speed sometimes. You'll just get better at it. Don't overthink it. What's my take on parallel versus ATG squatting for throwers? I've heard a lot of debate with the logic of going for parallel squats being that you can use a bunch more weight closer to the joint angles used in throwing. Plus, I guess it's less awkward for dudes with longer limbs. Yeah, I've talked about this before in the past. Generally speaking, I would much rather have an individual squat, like full range of motion. Full range of motion to me would be hip joint below your knee joint. That would be full range of motion. I'm not a huge fan of like the quarter squats due to like more specific joint angles. Yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I was wondering if training for, quote, rotational power with athletes that rarely have an aspect of training rotation in their sport, but when they do it, it could be important. Do you think it would be beneficial to use those rotational power, quote, exercises in this case? Yeah, I've talked about this in the past too. So for anyone who's seen me talk about this before, I apologize. It's probably good for people to hear me talk about it if they're new to this channel. But basically, so when you're referring to rotation, I just have to assume you're talking about rotation of the spine and then rotation of the shoulders and rotation of the hips. But like every athlete, regardless of what sport they're playing, has to rotate their spine on some level. Think about like a defensive end trying to turn the corner on an offensive tackle, pass rushing. Same with that offensive tackle. They have to like kick step, slide, rotate their spine to get into these positions. Like everybody has to rotate their spine on some level. But like these rotational power exercises, they don't provide a sufficient stimulus to create any sort of change or drive any sort of adaptation in the body. That's kind of my take on it. I guess, yeah, if you want to increase the capacity to rotate your spine, I would probably do like the thread the needle mobility drill. If you guys know what that is, I'll do a quick demo. Imagine my left hand had a cable pulling it that direction. Something like that. Like that's going to increase your ability to actually increase the range of motion of your spine to rotate. But like still, you have to do it dynamically in sports anyway. So just like getting reps, getting exposure to those movements and those tasks in the specific context you're going to have to use them. That's going to be the best way to train that. So like specific rotational medicine ball throws, specific like kettlebell swing, rotate, press things. It's not going to provide a sufficient stimulus to create the change you need to actually manifest performance improvements. So that's my take. This is a good question. Thoughts on using velocity-based training power outputs such as watts or projected max as a testing replacement for traditional 1-rep max? I think that's a totally fine thing to do. I've definitely used the OVR for some of the high school clients that I work with as a way to estimate a 1 rep max so that we don't have to spend a bunch of time, like 20 to 25, 30 minutes trying to find a 1 rep max to work off of. I think it's totally fine. As far as like the power metric goes, I really don't use it much besides like using external feedback to try to get kids to like work harder, I guess, so they can compete with each other. It's not that they have an issue of working hard, but I don't know how many reps I'm at. Let's check. I'm at 16 reps. I got 5 minutes left. Are your NFL dreams something you still dwell on, or have you been able to completely move on? I've completely moved on. It was something that really bothered me probably until I was like 26 or 27 years old. I mean, it bothered me for several years after the fact that I got cut, re-signed. I think I got cut and re-signed 5 times between the NFL and CFL. So it did bother me. I think I lost a little bit of my identity. Like I had so many people kind of rooting for me and trying to, and hoping that I would be successful with it. And I failed. So I felt like I failed them. Felt like I failed my wife now, then girlfriend, and my parents. Totally fine. I'm really content with my life now. I have a good job teaching, doing what I like to do, and then I do this online stuff. So I'm really content with where I'm at. Gonna be having a baby this year. Thankfully, I got a home gym. How much of a hit did your training take at first? So when I first had my daughter, my training didn't take a hit. I mean, I'm really lucky that I have a good wife who knows that this is really important to me. So the thing is, I just had to plan out my days. Like, before we had a kid, if I had free time, I could just go train. But like, when you have a kid, now you have to coordinate with your wife, see what your kid is up to. Does she need to be fed? Does she need to take a nap? You just have to plan for it, you know. My training really didn't take a hit at all. So I'm lucky that I had a good wife who knows that training is important to me. So she always made sure I had at least like an hour a day to dedicate to training because we're co-parenting. And then my job at the time, I was a strength and conditioning coach. So like I've said many times on this channel before, as a strength and conditioning coach, or if you're working in the fitness industry at all, you have a lot of downtime. So you have a lot of downtime to go get training in kind of whenever you want. And it's never going to be like inconvenient to your schedule because you're right there in the weight room usually. And if you're not, you're probably wearing clothes that you can train in. So it's not like you have to take time out of your day to change, shower, rechange. Like the accessibility is really easy for you. So no, my training didn't take a hit at all when I had my first kid. Just under 1 minute left, so I'll take a short breather here, and then I'll do one more set, maybe a single or a double. Okay, first set of front squats, 162 on the bar for a set of 5. Warm-ups were feeling heavy. What does my garage gym heating rig look like? I think you might post colder seasonal averages than me here in the Rockies, Mountain West, but tank and shorts at 6 a.m. At 6? Yeah, at 6 a.m. probably. I have what's called a hot dog. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Here, I'll move it. It's called a hot dog. I just got it from a local, it's called Grand Forks Heating, local place in Grand Forks here. Thoughts on Sika Strength? I like Sika Strength, dude. Sika Strength puts out good stuff. It's hard for me to pay attention to like their entire videos because they're Irish, so their accent is like, it's hard to listen to. My camera is kind of all jacked up here. No, but I like Sika Strength. I think they put out like good quality takes. They don't really use hyperbole. I do want to watch the video they just put out on Ozempic. It's titled "Is Ozempic Cheating?" So I've been pretty open that I've used GLP-1s on and off for the past about 9 months. And I need to see what their take is because I think there's a lot of fear mongering about the GLP-1s and a lot of people saying that it's like cheating and implying that if you use GLP-1s to lose weight, that you're somehow like less noble, or that it's not, you didn't legitimately lose the weight on your own terms, which is a completely ridiculous take. I could talk about this. I might talk about this after this set, but no, Seek His Strength puts out good stuff. Yeah, I think they're really good. So regarding the GLP-1s, so I've been open about it that I've been taking it on and off since June of 2024, so about 6 or 7 months now. Did I need to use it? No. But did it help me lean out? Did it reduce my hunger levels? Did it regulate my blood sugar? 100%. I could have gone an entire day eating like 1,200 to 1,500 calories and felt totally fine, not been low on energy, not felt hungry. So it made the process of leaning out really easy. And I think most people, I'm not including myself in this, most people are overweight, most people are obese. Putting them on a GLP-1 is going to significantly improve their health. Just losing weight is going to significantly improve their health. They're going to be at lower risk for high blood pressure. They're going to be at lower risk for various cardiorespiratory issues, lower risk of heart attacks. So I don't know like all the ins and outs of it. I'm not an endocrinologist. It's a peptide. It's not a hormone. Anyways, I think the demonizing of the GLP-1s for people who need to lose weight is really sad. And most of the pushback I've seen that I've heard from people, like one of my friends, he said you shouldn't take it because when you lose weight on a GLP-1 or a semaglutide, when you lose weight on that, you lose muscle mass. And it's like, yeah, obviously, anytime you lose weight, regardless of what the intervention is, you're probably going to lose muscle mass. And in fact, and there's data to back this up, is that if you're using a GLP-1 to lose weight, but you're participating in strength training, in resistance training, you lose less muscle mass than if you were not, than the people who lost weight were strength training and were not on a GLP-1. There's like a muscle sparing effect on that. So anyways, the other pushback is that people gain their weight back once they go off the GLP-1s. And it's like just like any other intervention. Once you stop using the intervention, once you go back to your normal lifestyle habits, you're probably going to gain weight back. But the thing with the GLP-1 is, so Dave Tate had a doctor on, Spencer Nadolsky, I think his name is. He talked about it on his podcast that like, I think the Mind Pump guys have talked about it too, but it like rewires the neurotransmitters in your brain that makes changing behavior and building habit and changing your behavior, changing habits around food and eating and like the dopamine receptors, it changes that when you're on it so that when you get off the GLP-1s, the lifestyle changes that you made while you were on the GLP-1s are easier to maintain when you're off. Anyways, I don't know everything about it. I'm a total proponent of people using it if they can afford it. Kind of think that implying that someone is like less noble for using it to lose weight, or implying that their weight loss isn't legitimate, that it's cheating, is ridiculous. And I think we should encourage people to use the necessary resources that they have at their disposal to improve their health. All right, I got Nordic hamstring curls here, last thing of the day. I want to try to get a good set of 5. Oh, maybe not. For most athletes, would you keep in a form of the barbell overhead press at least once per week year-round, or would dumbbell suffice? For most athletes, I would like to keep it in year-round, but I'm not like married to it, I guess. See, one thing about the barbell stuff compared to unilateral stuff, it takes less time to do a set. You do a set of 5 of a barbell overhead press, you're doing 5 reps. If you do a set of 5 with the dumbbell overhead press, assuming you're doing one arm at a time, you do 5, and then you do 5 on the other side. It takes more time, therefore it takes more recovery, therefore it takes more time to get through the entire exercise, and less time to train because you only have a finite amount of time to actually put forth into training. So That's part of the reason I like barbells. But yeah, if someone uses dumbbell overhead press as opposed to barbell overhead press, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I have a bias towards barbells. Pretty open about that. I think they're more efficient. They're more ergonomical. They allow for more effective training, generally speaking, most of the time for most people, including me, including the clients I work with. So I don't do a lot of dumbbell work myself, kind of for the reason I just mentioned. I don't know how much weight to use on a lot of those exercises. You have to do like so many warm-up sets to figure out what the appropriate weight is to use for a working set. It just takes too long. And then you got to do one side and then the other side. And now you've extended the set by 2 times. And now you have to rest a little bit longer. You just can't get as many quality reps. Like you can't get as much quality work done in the same amount of time compared to a barbell. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching.